the first thing that in the UK vets will talk to you about is contamination. Okay, we've done that. Then they'll say, then the next thing in the UK, they'll talk about, is it complete and balanced? Okay, to which you could say, what did you have for lunch? Okay, and that blows their argument out of the water, yeah, because they would have had just a sandwich for lunch, which is in nobody's book a complete and balanced food. Okay, there are studies. Mike Davis at the University of Nottingham did his homework and looked online and found about 100 raw food recipes, and he had his nurses in the department make up these diets according to the instructions. He then analysed those diets and found that many of them didn't come up to the FEDIAF guidelines. And his conclusion was raw feeding is dangerous because you're not feeding complete and balanced meals. Completely missing the point that the well-informed raw feeder is going to feed a variety, just as they feed themselves and their children and their families, just as humans have been feeding themselves for thousands of years. Okay, variety is key. So, vets will talk to you about bacteria. Vets will talk to you about complete and balanced. Vets will talk to you about bone. The important thing about bone is that we have very little data to suggest that bone as particles within mince cause problems. We have very little data to support the hypothesis that big recreational bones cause problems. There's a 2012 paper by Lisa Freeman and Marge Chandler et al. And it's got about 150 references. Within that, there are 4 references which mention bone, eating bone, and having obstructions due to bone. Okay, 4 references. In total, about 230, 250 dogs. I've done an analysis of all of those papers, and in not one is the word raw mentioned. Okay, so this is the definitive review. It's getting a bit old now, but this is the study that people will quote at you if they've done their homework, and I don't think it supports the hypothesis that bones are dangerous. On the contrary, I think not giving bones is dangerous, because if you don't give bones, you will not have that teeth cleaning effect, and I think you need the bones to clean the teeth, because if you don't, if the dog develops tartar and then periodontal disease on the teeth, then that can cause disease within the dog itself. Okay, periodontal disease in humans is associated with heart disease, with liver disease, kidney disease, low birth weight babies, thyroid disease, all these things with just due to periodontal disease, yeah, i.e. gingivitis, yeah, really bad gum disease, okay, or even subtle gum disease, yeah, because all those bacteria are being emptied into your bloodstream, which can then cause problems within your blood. Even if they don't cause infection, that having that toxin in your system is very will pull your overall health down. So for me, the veterinary arguments are weak, and I think that what happens with vets is that they're not taught about raw food at college, and therefore they have an innate distrust of raw food, which I think is fueled by myths and stories that circulate within the veterinary profession. And without doing much homework as to the benefits of raw food, vets will say, they will just say, okay, you know, it seems like raw food is a dangerous thing. However, most vets that I know who actually look into raw feeding will find that the dogs who go onto raw food within weeks, within even 2 weeks of transferring over onto raw food, will start looking better. And for me, this is how the raw food revolution has taken place. It is because it is really obvious, even to your next door neighbor who knows nothing about dogs. She starts feeding her dog with raw food and she can see with her own eyes there is an obvious improvement. The poos get better, the teeth get cleaner, the breath gets sweeter, there's more energy, the eyes are cleaner. All these things are really obvious to the average dog feeder, and therefore they go, oh my goodness. Somebody said, try raw food. I was really skeptical and I was really scared. Everybody's scared of raw food when they first go onto it. But if they see that improvement within 2 weeks, they are amazed. And then by 2 months, they are completely sold. And so what do? They go and tell their friends. Yeah? So one person goes and tells 3 friends. Okay? And that is why we are having this conversation right now, because the veterinary industry, the raw feeding industry, they have not created this thing, the raw food revolution. It is your neighbour who's done it by seeing, oh, actually, it's dogs. Where is she? There. It's actually dogs. That's quite nice. It is dogs who have driven the raw food revolution. You give them the right species appropriate food and they say thank you very much, with their teeth, with their skin, with their ears, yeah, no more bad ears, with their smell, with their energy. That, yeah, so don't believe your supplier, don't believe your vet, don't believe somebody trying to sell you food. Believe your dog, because the dog will tell you the truth about raw food, yeah? So supposedly healthy dogs, they're on kibble of whatever sort. You put them onto raw food and you see a benefit. You see a nutritional benefit. Okay? And it's really obvious. This is why it's so obvious. Okay? So you can counter any arguments from your vets. They may say, oh, it's expensive to feed. And you could say, yeah, okay, it maybe costs a little bit more than feeding rubbish food, but you get what you pay for. And if you feed great food, you are by definition going to be more healthy. And in the UK, we are just in negotiations with an insurance company. And what we're going to do is, over the next couple of years, we are going to be able to track insurance claims from raw fed versus non-raw fed dogs to see who is making the least claims, and we'll be able to give you some results in a couple of years' time. So watch this space with regard to that, something that's actually measurable. Okay, puppies.